programs. So yeah, there are a lot of kids who have special needs problems, who are issues in terms of education, have issues concentrating, focusing, maybe because of environmental issues, lead poisoning, something that happened in their household, not eating properly, all these things. And then when they're pushed out of school, they have less opportunities, less resources. And so it kind of forces them in a condition where they might become homeless. They become a burden in terms of welfare and other kinds of issues. Or they may resort to what I think is a natural and human instinct, which is self-preservation, which would make them steal or rob or sell drugs or get involved in the underground economy in one way or another. I mean, so it's important for us to intercede in that early.
As a community, we are engaged in a united struggle to overcome the social, political, economic, educational, and spiritual inequities which threaten to destroy us as a people. We recognize that as young people, we are one of the greatest resources available to the survival of our community.
OYN is the Opportunity Youth Network, and it is a collective impact strategy designed to serve young people who oftentimes are referred to as the hardest to serve young people in the city, and quite frankly, just in the state of New Jersey. So it's young people who are disengaged from school, who've struggled, have had a history of failure, court involvement, homelessness, teenage parents, just a lot of turmoil. They also struggle academically, so they need supports oftentimes in reading and writing and math. And so it's a strategy designed to take the best resources of the organizations and community, in the community and schools that have been serving that population, and kind of put that brain trust together and say, rather than working in isolation and these little different pockets, if we work together on this, we can have a greater impact. So that's what OYN was designed to do.
I'm talking to a kid now who's in leave, just left out of Paulo Freire School, overage, undercredited. I know those kids as a principal, overage, undercredited kids, very, very difficult pathway, hard for them to get a GED. Hard for them to finish school because of the seat time that's required and the age. And so he's going through that program now, and he's looking for employment. So he's down here working with us to try to go to school there and maintain a job after that time. And if he wasn't in this kind of flexible academic program, it would be difficult for him to be able to work and go to school at the same time, which would either cause him not to go to school, right? Because he's going to have to eat, take care of his family, do other kind of things that he does. And so it's important to have the kind of flexibility that Opportunity Youth Network allows, and the kind of creativity around the programming you could set for kids, and the imagination of meeting kids where they are.
When I was growing up, there were elders who would always say to us as young men, "You guys think you're doing something that's never been done before, right?" And they would often say that the only thing that changes is the faces. The game and the struggles always remain the same. They ring true, right? The struggles that young people are facing today are the same struggles that we faced when we were children. Poverty is poverty. Crime is crime. Lack of education is lack of education. Lack of access to opportunity is lack of access to opportunity. Young people respond today, I think, the same way that we responded when we were younger. They try to make a way out of no way.
The objective is to get them to the end, right? And so that's why it's important to have something like Opportunity Youth Network, to grab all of these people where they are and try to get them to the end, right? And so they feel like, I can't get to the end the way these kids are getting to the end, so there's no end for me. And so that's important. It's important to have them be able to work with the city, so then they can come here and say, look, I need you to help with this and this and this and that, and we can actually save this young man. And it is incredibly important. And I think it's the first time that we're dealing with it in a comprehensive way, that is not just the responsibility of the school system to deal with kids who drop out and decide they want to come back, or the court has ordered to come back.
Young people, there's an assumption that young people don't want to participate in this larger society. They do very desperately. They just don't feel that they have the skills to do so. So there's a perception that they they're doing what they're doing by choice, right? So they're committing crimes by choice, they're dropping out of school by choice, they're getting addicted to drugs by choice. But quite honestly, those are symptoms of this ceiling that doesn't allow them this participation. Whenever we take in young people, and we've been doing this for a number of years, young people want very desperately to belong, and they will do almost anything you ask as long as they can see what the end game is for that piece to belong to something. So the mental toughness process, the onboarding that we do with young people, is an opportunity for them to invest in something that's different and something that hopefully provides them with some tangible outputs on the other end. You can see very often where young people are not able to kind of carry the full burden, as it were, of the program's culture, and we tell them that they might have to try something else. It's a painful experience because they have always been pushed out of these spaces that they want to be in. The challenge here is that we're always open to listening and kind of helping the young person reposition themselves to give another try to get into that larger space. So I think the idea that young people want to live in a counterculture is wholly false.
Some reasons why public schools didn't work for me was because the fact that the school that I went to was Westside High School, and from there, not throwing shade, but it was like they barely was teaching anywhere, and they just had kids roaming around the hallways, and it was like, it wasn't for me. I wanted to be in a school where it's like tough on me to succeed my goal and achieve
The
it.
courts say you got to go to school or you're going to go to jail, right? And so they're being forced to do that, and nobody's out there grabbing them, talking to them, counseling them to move them back in that direction. So it's still difficult, and it's the first time that I think that this is really, really happening, and it's incredibly important.
I was really, really, really fortunate to sort of have available to me a set of mentors and role models in every program I was in, whether it was the TC or the Youth Build program or the Public Allies program or the endless leadership opportunities I had, to have people around me who just wouldn't give up and kept providing me chance after chance to prove that I could be a leader. And so those opportunities sort of shaped me, being able to not only design program, but being able to train and recruit and train staff that have an unshakable belief in the power of young people.